What's up, third graders? It's me, Mr. McGowan, and we're going to work on our part 2 of our measuring to the quarter inch lesson. You should have seen just shortly that you need 3 things. You're going to need a pencil, you're going to need your math journal, and you're going to need a ruler. The ruler has to be in inches. You're also going to need to turn in your notebook to this page. All right, let's get to this page and talk about what we need to do to be measuring to the quarter inch. Page that you need to work on. You have number 1, number 2, and number 3. Your job is to measure to the nearest 1/4 inch. That means you're going to ask yourself, is it closer to 1/4? Is it closer to 1/2? Is it closer to 3/4? Or is it closer to the whole inch? If you don't have a ruler, I'm going to insert a picture of myself measuring each line. You can use that to write your answers as well. Let's go ahead. We're going to do
If you don't have a ruler,
you can use this picture. This is what your eyes would see. Go ahead and write down what you see is the correct answer. I will be going over how to find the correct answer in a little bit. Stop the video here so you don't get any more hints. Would work, and then what we would write in our book. So if I'm measuring this, I'm starting here and going here. This is equal to 1 whole inch, so I know I have 1. I'm going to keep going. This is a 2nd whole inch. Do I have 3 whole inches? No, I don't. Now it gets a little bit tricky. I know right here is a 1/2 inch. This is what we used to worry about. Now I have to worry about some other things. I have this right here. This is a 1/4, and then this right here is a 3/4. So you have to think this is a 1/4, this is a 1/2, and this is a 3/4. Then you ask yourself this question. You know you have 2 full inches. Is this line right here, is it closer to 1/4, 1/2, or 3/4? I'm seeing that it's really close to 3/4, and it's much closer to 3/4 even than it is to 3. So I know that the measurement of this line is 2 3/4. Well, let's go ahead and write that in our notebooks if you haven't already. You would write a 2, and then you would write a 3 right next to it, but not quite as big. Fraction line. Underneath, you would write a 4. And that's how you'd write 2 3/4 inches. Pretty good. Let's go on to number 2. Just going to show you the picture of number 2 and number 3. This is for people that don't have inch rulers at home. So you can just look at this picture. This is number 2. See where it is. Decide how long you think that is using your number line skills. Now I'm going to go on to number 3. I'm just showing the pictures. Here is number 3. Go ahead, look at this, decide how long you think that line is. Remember, measuring in inches is like using a number line. So just think about how you would think about this if it were a number line. Now I'm going to stop the video. I want you to write your answers, and then we're going to talk about how to find the correct answers. This one, you may have thought about it a little bit different. That's fine, and then we'll talk about where to put the answers. So here's 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, and then we have 4 inches. Now, the other things you might have to be concerned about are this one right here. This is 3 3/4, so this would be a 3/4. And then all the way here is the other 4th. That would be 1/4. And then you have the whole number right here. But look at this one. This is almost directly on 4 inches. So then I know in my notebook, I'm just going to write the number 4. I have 4. Unit is already there. Thank you, EDM, for putting it there. Number 3. You have 1 full inch. You keep going. 2 full inches. But you don't get to 3. You're stopping right around this number. It's not close, it's close, not close to this one or close to this one. So we're going to use this as our answer. that would be the 1/2 because it's halfway between the two. So that means it's 2 1/2. Let's go write that in our notebooks. This is going to be about 2. And then you write 1 over 2 1/2. Hey, you're learning how to measure to the nearest 1/4 inch. It's making things a little more complicated, but it's also making things more accurate, which is great for math. Being more accurate is important. We're going to move on to doing one more page. It's a review page. All right, 3rd graders, you did all the measuring to 1/4 inch. We're going to do a little bit of a challenge review style activity. It is on page 253. So let's turn to the next page. I'm going to show you that, kind of give you a preview, and then just put the answers up for this page. Is page 253. First question says, think about where each of the fractions below belong on the number line. Then write one of the fractions in each box for A, B, C, and D on the number line. You have to find 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, and 3/4. They all belong in one of these boxes. After you do that, then you have to explain how you figured out where 3/4 went. What was your thinking behind 3/4? And then what is another name for the point you labeled 1/2? There's actually an infinite number of correct answers for that one. You just need to come up with one. Just look at the number line below. Label the tick mark with a fraction that could name that point. Hint, you may partition the number line to help you identify the point. Remember, you need to divide it into equal pieces. Maybe cut this line, measure from here to here, and cut this line to see what it is. This is the try this. Label 3/6 on the number line in problem 2. Explain how you know where 3/6 belongs. Some challenging problems. This is all review though. Go ahead and do the work, and then I'll put the correct answers up. All right, here are the correct answers. You should have 1/4, 1/3, 1/2, 3/4. This is a sample answer of how to figure it out. This isn't the only correct answer. So this one says I figured out 1/2 first because the tick mark C is halfway between 0 and 1. I know 3/4 is more than 1/4, 1/3, and 1/2. So I marked D as 3/4. You may have had another way. What is another fraction name for the point you labeled 1/2? 2/4. It could be anything as long as you have a number on the bottom and the number on the top. So the denominator, the numerator should be half of that. You could have 4 and 2, 6 and 3, 8 and 4, 36, 18. They are all equal to 1/2. Here is the number line with the sample answer. It could be 2/3. You could also have 4/6 if you did it that way. And then 3/6 would be here. And then sample answer, I used the tick mark for 2/3 to partition the rest of the number line into thirds. Then I used 2/3 to make 6 and labeled 3/6. Not how I would do it. 3/6 is another name for 1/2. I would just find the halfway point on this number line. You could do it any way that you wanted to do it as long as it makes sense and the answer is correct. 3rd graders, we did a lot of work today measuring to the nearest 1/4 or 1/4 inch. Also reviewed how to put fractions on the number line. Hopefully your understanding of fractions is growing more and more every single day. Keep up all of the great work, and I will see you again on Sunday.